Hey guys, how's it going? It's Blaze, back with some more OPTCG content for y'all. Today I figured now that OP15 has actually kind of hit the market and had a couple days kind of out on the street at your LGSs, people are actually getting cards in hand. Obviously it is still a pre-sale market, but it feels like maybe now is about as soon as makes sense to actually jump in and kind of start covering where things are for the moment. Before that though, a reminder, as always, we are creeping up on 1,000 subscribers soon. So if you want to be entered into the giveaway to win this Ace Sabo Luffy, you know what to do. Like the video, comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, but let's get into it. All right, OP15. Let's just go ahead and start off by looking at the current sealed price for things. Hopefully these will come down a little bit because we are technically in pre-sale, but we are looking at a 245 per box. This is plus $9.99 shipping. General price here. Going to sold boxes, we are seeing the price, creep down, but consistent sales at 250 to 255. That 245 plus $9.99 shipping, that's basically like 250. So 255 a box. Yeah, these things are moving at 255. Again, this is pre-sale. Hopefully this should come down, but it looks like we saw a drop down to about 240, and then it's been slightly rising since then over the past, little less than a week. So yeah, definitely interesting to see. Hopefully this doesn't rise up too much more or starts going back down again. But then we have cases at a 2,700, closer to 2,800 here, to be honest. These have actually gone down a little bit in the same period that the boxes have gone up, but they did peak back up a little bit here, kind of like the week before, and now they're dropping again. Looking at sales data, yeah, once again, consistent sales over the past couple days. Lots of product moving at this price point. Yeah, mostly bought out. There's a few listings for cases, but things are definitely pretty slim. And then we have packs going for 10 bucks. This is crazy to me. I mean, packs for 10 bucks of this set does not make much sense. So I think we'll see this go down quite a bit here. I suspect, these will settle around like $7 to $8, something like that, and the boxes hopefully should go down to about 200. I could be totally wrong on that, but that's what I'm hoping for. All right, let's take a look at some single cards here. Out of the kind of main SP card pool here, we do have the Zeus SP, aka the Pikachu. This is kind of a funny card, I'm not gonna lie. I do actually find this pretty amusing. The kind of acknowledgement from Bandai, I believe, of the Gengar Nami situation that happened, late last year is definitely kind of funny. Having this go for 770, this being the most expensive SP, definitely makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's literally Pikachu like on the card, basically. It's not it's not officially a Pokemon card collab, but it's definitely, they knew what they were doing when they made this. This is a really funny card. I do like it. Not seeing a ton of sales. I don't know when we'll see sales or what prices we'll see sales at. I'd be kind of surprised if this card gets below 600, at least in the super near future. Maybe if there's an overall market dip further down in the future, we would see this go, below 600. But this feels like a card that should be in the 600 to 800 range. I think 770 still feels a little high, but somewhere between 600 and 700, and then creeping back up would kind of make sense to me. We do have the new Boa Hancock SP here, coming in second place at a little under 600. This card, I feel like, is suffering from a bit of, I guess you could say, Boa fatigue. We've had so many Boa SPs, and now we've had two sets with different Boa SPs back to back. And I think you're going to see the value of new BOA SPs continue to creep down the more they do this. Those older ones, particularly I think the OP04 and the OP09 one, should hold pretty steadily. But these new guys, I don't think are going to be able to compete with those as much. This being below the OP14 version of the SP, I also do think makes sense since it's like directly following it, and it's kind of this weird OP15 style SP that I'm not really sure how is going to hold up as opposed to one of those like classic SPs. But this I think could definitely go down to like 500, maybe like even 450 possibly. We got the Newgate at 375. I think this probably sells at like 300 to 350, something around there would make sense. Again, these are all still technically pre-sale prices, so we're not going to see a lot of buying. But we've got the Law selling a little over 300 here. Now it's down to 299. This, feels like 200 something kind of card here. Oh, this is a weird one. Somehow the Smoker and Tashigi got like pushed down in the sorting. Somebody must have done some weird market thing with this. Yeah, somebody did a weird like fake low sale thing with this, I think. Oh yeah, this is what? It's definitely some weird fishy stuff with that. But this is like a $200 card. We haven't seen sales at 200, but that is currently where it's sitting. Somebody's trying to destabilize this card and make it, not show up right in the price listings. We do also have the SP Luffy here, which is obviously going for, quite a bit. It hasn't sold any copies yet, so it wasn't in the main, market price listings because there is no real set market price, and that price is sitting at $733 right now. We will see if it comes down. If it sells here, looks like everybody's kind of creeping down towards that 700 mark. That makes sense. We also do have the Yellow Enel SP here going for about $235. Also creeping down with no sales. And then we also do have the PRB2 Sabo SP here. Super, super cool art on this one. This is when Fujitora drops the meteor and it gets cut by the birdcage and Sabo's fighting itself. Like super, super sick art here. But yeah, this one going for $480 from Mini Pro Card House. Shout out Mini Pro. That's funny. By the way, you never shouted me out. If you're watching this, you never shouted me out after I lent you those Usopp cards. What's up with that, bro? It's like, nah, I'm playing. But hey, I shouted you out now, so. And then we do also have the Promo Sabo SP, 400 lowest listed, no sales. We'll see where it ends up. And then, of course, we're going to go over to them after the SPs here because we don't have any sold prices here. These are kind of in the no sold price available category. But the Kobe manga, sitting at $1,100 for a lightly played, $1,160 to $1,200 for a near mint. No sales on these. At least not in English, I don't believe. So we don't really know where this is at, but I would suspect this goes down from here pretty significantly. I don't think this is a manga that people really like all that much, even Kobe fans. And there aren't exactly hordes of Kobe fans, And then, of course, the big card from the set here is going to be the Enel manga. This one, I think, is also not the best, really. I think it's okay. I think it's fine. I do really like a purple manga. They look really, really good. I do like the panels in the background here. The different Enel expressions is great. I'm not a super huge fan of the pose and the artwork, the super wide feet things like weird to me. I feel like there's cooler Enel poses from the manga they could have used. Maybe it was hard to find one that was like a fully defined, like, full body shot like that though. So I can see why they go with this one, but still pretty cool looking, with the staff there. But yeah, going for $1,250. We'll see where it ends up. I definitely think it comes down from there. I could see this being like $1,000 manga raw though, near mint. And again, we do not have any sales, so it's kind of hard to talk about where we see this going. I guess this is technically not a verified seller, so it's technically 1350 verified, but like, I do think it will come down. We saw with the Mihawk last set, something to remember from last set is it took the Mihawk a while to really come down. Even when it looked like it was kind of coming down, I made the mistake of I went out and I bought one when it was, you know, a little under $1,000 because I said, okay, you know, a lot of these mangas seem to be holding around 1K, so I think this one's probably going to go down and kind of stop there. But that was not the case, so I got burned on that a good bit because it's now gone down since there, which of course the answer to that is I'm just going to hold on to it for a really long time now because it'll be worth more someday. But if you're thinking more in the short term of like, is this going to go down below 1,000 and should you wait and hold off? I would say with where we're at in the market right now, personally, waiting and holding off on this newer stuff, I think makes a lot of sense. But that being said, the other elephant in the room is that Pokemon's going down really hard again. So we might see another wave of Pokemon people all coming over to One Piece and running everything back up again. Could totally happen. I'm not ruling that out at all. I'm just basing my information off of kind of the short term, what we've seen in the One Piece market so far in the first 3 months of 2026. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, next up we got the Zoro alt art here. This going for 170, making it the most expensive alt art by quite a bit, and a whole bunch of sales at that price. I think this is definitely one of the more affordable cards of the set that makes sense to kind of invest in and expect it to go up at some point in the future, or to expect it to go up once it's graded, purely, you know, just because of the fact that it is a Zoro card. After that, we got the Enel OP15 manga event here. This thing's really nice. I would love to have one of these in the collection. For 130 bucks, that feels a little high for one of these type of event cards, but it is in a top meta deck here that will do very well throughout the format, I'm sure. So that's definitely pushing it up. I would expect this to kind of end up similar to like where Ground Death is, ideally around like 100 bucks per event. We'll see if that ends up being the case, but that makes sense to me for this one. We've got the 10 cost Secret Luffy here in the alt art for a little over 150 up next. This is seeing some sales. Luffy, this lightly played at 130, near min around like 144. Again, I think we're seeing a Luffy tax on this from more of a collector side as far as like what the pre-sale price is. And I would obviously expect all these to go down probably at least another 25-ish%. So thinking of this as a little closer to 100. I still think we're going to see a bit of a Luffy tax on that from the collector side when you compare it to like some of the other leaders. After that, we do have the Gum Gum Golden Rifle alt art manga event, whatever you want to call it. This guy saying 125, lightly played, 130 near mint. I don't think we have too many sales on this yet. Yeah, we got a couple around the 135-ish range, so it's come down like $5 from the last sale. I'm sure it'll come down a little bit more. I kind of feel like this should be around that same like $100 mark that I'm expecting for the dragon, if not lower, or the dragon will stay higher. This should be a bit lower than the Enel event, I believe, though, overall. After that, we do have the wedding dress Nami here. This near mint going for 130. I'm sure it'll come down. It was selling for pretty high, yeah, like 160 at first, then down to 140. So we have down to 130, and then it went back to 150 yesterday. So that's kind of interesting. Now we're seeing a bunch for 130, I suspect it'll end up being down closer to like 100. But I think this is a card that will regain some value in the long run, just because, you know, it's a Nami, and if you see it in person, the card is really, really pretty. So I think it'll be nice for collectors. Following up the Nami is the Lucy leader. I suspect this guy probably drops down to around like a little under 100, 80, 70, 80, maybe 90, probably not. Selling at 150 a bunch of times. Again, I know we're looking at pre-sale prices, but I would really wait for this stuff to settle before you start buying up any of these. I think they'll come up, you know, after they kind of hit the bottom of pre-sale. But they also might not. I mean, OP14 stuff, we kind of saw how that went, right? That didn't really follow the same curve, and it kind of like held a higher price closer to pre-sale for longer, but then it like crashed down hard in the months that came after, once we had basically just the next sets out, right? Like EBO3, as soon as that came out, we started just seeing a massive drop off for OP14. So definitely treat the set with a little bit of caution. I'm kind of saying, you know, what I would expect if things go back to a more normal pre-sale versus full release, you know, price ratio, but we don't know. You know, we don't really know exactly how these newer One Piece sets are doing. I would still consider this to be like a pre-global set. I think this is like the last, like 1 through 15 are going to be kind of like the first major era before global release, if the game continues to last for a long time, which I think it will. I mean, every single pre-release, I went to the pre-release for OP15 and there were so many new people there. The game is just getting more and more and more and more popular. You know, I've seen random people playing it in like restaurants and stuff, like kids playing it, you know, without even having any sleeves on. Like it's starting to hit that mainstream appeal level of not just being like a niche anime fandom based card game, but being this like broadly accepted card game. We'll see if that continues, but yeah, selling for around 130 here. The Jewelry Bonnie alt art down to like 97 though. I mean, I suspect this continues to fall. We don't have the art for it on TCG, which is kind of annoying, but yeah. And then the big boy here, the big meta warping. If you're a player, obviously this card is already infamous for you. We had an emergency ban, if you guys aren't aware, that affected this. Now the card is not banned. This card is going to see a ton of play, but a event card that had the ability to trigger and basically bring any egghead type back from the dead to replay it made this a combo with this that just absolutely broke the balancing of how the game was supposed to work, because you were just like healing over and over and over. And if you had Hiyori in your hand, you could Hiyori, put it in your life, make it so that you play this, heal yourself, block, it dies, they hit your life, it comes back, it heals you again. So it was like creating this like absolutely insane life value loop that really could not be allowed to exist in the game. And some yellow players are upset, but like this card is still crazy. This card is actually still going up in its alt art now. We are seeing it all the way up to 130. I think some people thought this card was going to get banned. I was kind of hoping it would get banned. I think this card by itself is the problem. I don't think it even needs the event loop to be a problem. That event loop like doubled how bad the problem was almost. I mean, yeah, it pretty much doubled it. Like you're seeing these same copies of these bodies come out twice. You're effectively running 8 copies of the card in the deck if you think of it, the event as like being able to consistently trigger it out. So it made it twice as bad. The problem is half as bad now. Still a problem though. I mean, this card is crazy. A 5 cost 6k blocker that immediately just heals you for 1. You don't have to like go negative. You don't have to discard a card. You don't have to do anything like that. You just immediately get life back on play. Absolutely stupid. That card going for a bunch makes total sense. Next we got the Brook Leader here. I love this leader card. I really want a copy of it just for my collection. I don't really like the restanding with green playstyle, much less like milling yourself to 0 to have to be able to do it. It's very like perfect swing out-y in a way of I'm sure I would struggle to play this deck. But yeah, we've got 114 sales, 110, 120, creeping down to around 100. I'm sure this card will be under $100. How much, I'm not sure. I would suspect that this card also ends up around like, you know, honestly, I feel like this should be like a $60 to $70 card, more than a $100 card, but we'll see where it ends up. I do like the art, but I just don't think the deck is like gonna be that dominant. And then we have the Enel, this one going for around 120. This guy, you know, getting a lot of sales. I just bought one of these. Obviously, it's a crazy leader. I plan to play this deck as soon as I saw it, just because it's a mono purple Enel deck, and I love the character of Enel, but I hate the color of yellow, and I despise like everything about how the yellow Enel plays. This card is like kind of everything I love, of like lots of actions, lots of combos, lots of Dawn management, and the ability to use a bunch of 0 costs. Like it's kind of like, it kind of combines my favorite stuff about, you know, a deck like GP Luffy or something with everything I like about a deck like Silver's Rayleigh, which are like arguably 2 of my favorite decks. They're both in my top 5 like favorite decks in the game of all time. So yeah, I was always going to play this leader. Turns out it's like probably the best leader from the set. I was hoping to not spend a lot of money. Cost a little more to put this deck together than I would have liked. But and we'll get into that with the secrets. But yeah, so 120 for right now. I mean, I think this will come down to like significantly less than this. How much, I don't know. This should be like the most expensive leader other than maybe the Luffy, if we're just thinking about, you know, Luffy tax. But yeah, this leader should definitely be right up there, probably at the top, when we consider like the meta perspective for people who, you know, intend to run this deck. The alt leader is kind of the first thing you buy if you're, you know, planning to main a deck for a while. So yeah, this should be, you know, higher than the other stuff. Whether that means it ends up being $80, $70, or $90 or $100, just kind of depends on where the set ends up settling, like how long this kind of stays up, and obviously if it kind of crashes out like OP14 did. So then after that, again, more Enel stuff. Here we have the secret rare Enel alt art going for $100 a pop. Seeing a lot of sales on these, I'm sure. Yep, comparatively, people want their alted out Enel decks. People are dropping some early money to just get the whole thing. It is a pretty cool art here. So it is a secret alt art, so that's also something that should be kept in mind. I am going to skip a little bit forward though and just talk about the normal version of the secret Enel. This one actually going up in price every day. So, you know, it's already seen a 43% rise. The other side of the kind of ban with yellow that pair banned the Borsellino looping event ability, the Quasar help, is that now that yellow isn't like shutting this deck down as much, it might actually be, you know, better in the meta than we thought it was at first, and it was already supposed to be one of the best decks. So now it has the potential to rise up to something potentially tier 0, which would be crazy. I feel like it still has some bad matchups like the Bell Luffy, but it really depends on how prevalent those decks end up being. So yeah, this secret rare has actually been rising day over day, starting out around $45. Now we're up to about $65, so it's actually put on like $20, and it's being bought out pretty aggressively. So this is what I was talking about when I said I wanted to be able to put this deck together for cheaper. I already knew I wanted to play it, and I did end up trying to get my playset of these as early and as soon as humanly possible. But yeah, it was still kind of too much at 45. I was not really trying to spend, you know, that amount of money. Obviously I did trades. I didn't like spend money on all of it, but just the overall value of the deck, you know, I was hoping to put together a deck that was going to be pretty cheap because I saw it was like mostly comprised of a bunch of rares and uncommons, aside from 4 SRs and 4 SECs. But yeah, the SECs, you know, ended up being enough to make it kind of annoying. All right, we do have the Sanji here going for around 38. I feel like this card probably also, wow, somebody paid 90 bucks for this. Yeah, you got cooked. I mean, this seems like a $30, $25 card. I don't know. We'll see, but like, it's a solid yellow card, but it is not a Luffy, and it's not, I think, super meta warping. We do see the SEC alt Luffy for the 5 cost here, down around 80 bucks. Getting some sales at 80 bucks. Holding around this range, seemingly. We'll see how much it comes down. Again, Luffy tax makes things a little more difficult to predict with a card like this, so we'll find out. This Zoro here, pretty sick Zoro, 80 bucks, holding around that. I think these top ones are kind of a little more indicative of what the price will be for a longer term. $80 for this. I mean, we'll see how much it moves. This is one. I think the art on this is really good. I could potentially see it moving back up. Probably not. I'm sure it comes down a bit first, but. And then here we've got the Zombie Luffy OP15 edition here, going for 65. I think this one comes down a little more. I don't think Luffy tax applies as much when he's in like one of these weirder forms, like the zombie form or like the Bounce Man, you know, Gear 4 treasure rare. Like some of the weirder, unpopular, kind of funky looking forms, I think it applies less to. I think people get tricked into thinking Luffy tax applies to everything that says Luffy on it. I actually don't think it necessarily does. The Rebecca leader here, this is a really nice card. I really like this Dressrosa Rebecca leader here. Very pretty, going for 50 bucks. This is one I might pick up at some point for the collection once it drops down. I think it'll continue to drop just because I don't think the deck really has the support it needs to be all that good. And I think when Lucy exists, if you want to play a blue leader, you're probably going to play Lucy. So yeah. We got the alt art Bonnie Searcher here going for 50 bucks. This thing has been going for more than I thought and seems to be selling a little more consistently than I thought. It is a Straw Hat Crew or Egghead Searcher. Top 4, any card, any power range, as long as it's within those archetypes. I think those archetypes are pretty good archetypes right now, so kind of makes sense. And then we got the cheapest leader here, Krieg, at 42 bucks. I don't think this leader is going to make a big impact, at least not right now. So I think people are kind of writing them off. It's a really interesting leader, though, that with future support could actually potentially be pretty good. And then we've got the soft secret hit of the set. This is how you get the 4th hit in the box there with the regular SR, Borsellino, going for 50 bucks. 50 bucks for regular SR. This is kind of like the last time I remember when a regular SR Borsellino went for 50 bucks. Back then it was black, now it's yellow. Oh, how the times have changed. Him not getting banned, I think, has seen this hold a little steadier. It's coming down because he did get hit with that Rayquaza ban. But yeah, I mean, these were going for 50, and now we're seeing them at like 52, 53. So, you know, after the ban announcement, people just knowing this card isn't getting banned in general. I think a lot of people got scared when they said, hey, emergency ban list, like right after the set came out. You know, people have bought their play sets and they were like, oh crap, are we gonna get hit after we just paid pre-sale prices for this card that's in super high demand. So now people know it's a little safer. They're gonna go quick. We've got the Enel SR alt art here, going for about 50 bucks. Again, I mean, this is a 4 of core card in the deck, core part of the whole thing. You're seeing, you know, these are actually moving at this price. Do they come down? Do they hold? Do they go back up? I'm not going to predict that they go up the way that the SR did, but it's definitely a potential that they could. It's like a significant potential that they could. These Enel cards definitely could end up popping off a little bit more compared to some of the other stuff in the set. Rebecca alt art here. Again, super pretty card here. I really like some of these recent Rebecca cards. I think they are doing a much better job on the art than some of the other older ones that look kind of weird. We're seeing it for around 47 bucks, 45, 47. This being a $50 card feels too high, but it is run in Lucy a lot. So maybe we will see it hold. Just for a 1 cost that's a top 3 searcher and then can gain blocker, it is probably one of the best chump blockers in the game, but I don't know about this price. It just seems a little bit crazy. All right, we're still going. We've got the Kobe, EBO4. The EBO4 card pools really making these ones hard to get through. Sell them for like 40 bucks. The yellow 6 cost Zoro alt art here. I mean, this is a crazy good card in yellow. Again, we're seeing like really overtuned 4 cost 6k, so vanilla stat line, but on play you may trash a card from your hand, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to your life cards. I mean, there's no limit on the healing even with this, other than having to trash one, but you can do it at any time. You don't even have to be at a life threshold. This is just nuts. The amount of healing that yellow is able to do now is just insane. And they burn. They constantly heal and they burn. It's so broken. So I don't know if this comes down too much, maybe a little bit, but they just keep printing more and more broken stuff for yellow. So maybe these yellow cards just stay high. We've got the Luffy SEC here, going for around 43. So earlier on, I mean, this card and that Secret Enel were kind of like around the same. You know, they're 2 of the big SECs. They should be about the same. But this one has fallen off a bit because I think the ban has people a little bit less positive on yellow as compared to the purple Enel when it comes to the, you know, the leaders from this actual set. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, this leader and this card are really, really good. And they counter Enel very, very directly. So I think that'll keep its value, you know, somewhat high. We got the Mamaragon alt art here. I'm personally not that big of a fan of this alt art, but it's gone for 50 bucks. I mean, it's a really important staple card. So if you're alting out Enel, I guess you're buying these just to say you've alted out Enel. Yeah, I mean, look at the come up here. These were 25 bucks all the way up to 62, although somebody sold one for 34. But yeah, 55. These are just exploding in value. Maybe they look really good in person too. I haven't seen it. I just think the normal event looks really, really cool. If you guys haven't seen it, it should be like one of the more... Yeah, this event here, this like manga panel with the lightning bolts like coming over it and this like full art event manga panel look. I think these look awesome. Going for like 8 bucks also, by the way. So still expensive. Even just the basic SRs in this deck, kind of expensive. I mean, you're talking, what, like 30 something bucks to just pick up a playset of an SR? Like what are we doing here? We got the Wiper. The Calgara support from the set is actually surprisingly strong, and obviously it's a yellow deck, so it is just kind of good right now. They're going for 30 bucks by Tournament City. We've seen sales up to 40. I mean, this thing, I think, will keep coming down. I don't think Calgara is going to be like a super poppin' deck. It is good though. The Sabo, this one I'm a little surprised isn't higher. Seen it climb 0.9% or 0.9%. Yeah, this is a super crazy card for blue. 4 of in the Lucy deck. I mean, the Lucy deck basically revolves around this card. It's not dropping. I don't know if it will drop. This one could potentially actually go up. We'll see how well Lucy ends up doing overall. The Brook, I think this kind of makes sense for it. This is like a $20 range-ish card. Maybe it goes down lower. Really beautiful card. Love this card, but I just don't think Brook is going to like be that impactful. Yeah, down from $50 down to 25. I could see it going a little bit lower. Do really like the card though. The Nico Robin Sky Island alt art. I mean, I think this is a very played card in the Sky Luffy deck. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe there's some builds that aren't running this, which is mitigating it, but I would have expected this to be actually maybe a little bit higher. I guess Sky Luffy might just not be as popular as I was kind of expecting it to be. But we'll see. If Enel becomes like the serious dominant tier 0 deck in the meta, I think Sky Luffy kind of has to come up with him, because that's the counter to the deck, right? Like the more overwhelmingly played that deck is, the more overwhelmingly played the Sky Luffy ends up being. And I think the more it pushes Lucy kind of out, unless it does just become a triangle meta of like Lucy, Enel, and Sky Luffy. But I would be surprised if that happens. I think we have enough other decks that are still really good running around that I don't foresee things being a triangle meta. I think it's going to be a less diverse meta than 14 though, probably. These come down a little bit. The ohms here down to like 25 bucks. This still feels like it just feels crazy to be buying an ohm alt art for over $20, but it is a really good card in one of the best decks, so I guess it makes sense. The Sanji here down to like 25. Yeah, could come down more. I don't really see tons of people running this. The Lucci here down to like 20 bucks. You know, maybe you buy these to like stonk up for when Lucci gets super good again and turns into like just a crazy powerful mill deck or something. And then we do have the Kuro alt art here as one of the lowest cost ones. This one being 19 bucks. Yeah, I mean, I don't see a world where this card is, you know, more than $20, so that doesn't really surprise me too much. The 10 cost secret rare Gear 5 Luffy here, going for 20 bucks. Regular one is down from like 30. Maybe it drops more. I feel like it's not a super prevalent card. It doesn't heal you, and it's yellow, and it's a 10 cost. So, you know, when every other yellow card just heals you basically for free, a 10 cost that doesn't seems less just generically good, I guess. We got some other ones like the alt art Kaku here, the alt art Krieg. I mean, you know, y'all don't really care about these too much. The Dash Pack Nami and the Dash Pack Kiten are going for a good bit though. Then we got the higher priced SRs here. The Wedding Nami, again, going for like $9 as an SR, which is kind of crazy. The Mamaragan, regular ones, like almost $9. The Saba is like $7. Zombie Luffy's like $7. Thankfully, the Enel SR, only $369. Thank goodness. You know, this was going for a lot at first. Waiting for this to cool off. Definitely the right move if you were planning to build Enel and haven't yet, because this is like the one part of the deck that I was a little worried would end up being overpriced, but actually did end up being pretty cheap. So the ones you really got to care about are the Mamaragan and the SEC Enel, as well as the leader if you want the leader. Rest of these SRs are like ranging down to like $2 or $1 or less, and you know, things kind of go down from there. You are going to have to pay, you know, $1 or $2 for your little one cost to nail one drop guys, but if you pull some packs, you'll end up with plenty of these. Alright guys, so that's pretty much my coverage for the newly released OP15 set. If you liked the video, again, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. You entered in the giveaway for this nice little alt art. But yeah, I mean, what do y'all think? This is a very interesting time in the market. I feel like it could kind of go either way. So if the Pokebros come back in and, you know, drive everything up, maybe these are lower prices than we're going to expect to see for pre-release. We're actually seeing some cards come up already. But again, this could totally be another OP14 situation where the card values that we're seeing right now are like not reflective of where things are going to settle for quite a bit longer than the normal kind of pre-release bubble where things kind of fall off 30-ish% fairly consistently. They're pretty inflated in the beginning. And then, yeah, with the ban list coming out and also getting some emergency modifications, we kind of also have to see where the meta settles. So, yeah, really interesting time in the One Piece market, actually. I think people might be aware of, like, how many different ways things could go right now. And it'll be really interesting to see. So, let me know what you think down in the comments. And appreciate all y'all. Again, we are creeping up on that 1K. Almost at 900 right now. So get in the giveaway if you're interested. And yeah, until next time, peace.